So interesting. Sometimes I code from the beginning, and then sometimes I code from the back, and often from both sides, and then the code meets in the middle. Well, this is a case where I have to start coding in the middle. Yeah. So this part doesn't work, and this part doesn't work. And the war doesn't exist because this part doesn't work yet. But by enabling this code in the middle, working around the fact that draw order doesn't exist yet, I can fix edge. Because, well, what does it say? From WC does not exist. I think that is. It has to be this one. I think I need them all. I don't know by axis yet, but definitely these two. So every edge is made up by the corners. And I don't know what is from and what is to. But, well, that's how they are called here. And then pointed depth is also for a corner then. So these are the corner coordinates in the window coordinates. And the accompanied depth, which means that you have to initialize these four. Currently clearly not initialized yet. And that used to be done by passing, well, this, apparently. Because, well, pushback creates it. Wondering why this isn't an employee's back without the braces. Maybe in that case you do need a constructor, but the corners here is not highlighted. Thought I did have a cornerstone. Corners. See, we do have a corners. Probably not highlighted because corners is just a local vector. Okay, here corners is, oh here it is defined, it's an array. An array with point depth. So this contains all the information for each corner by corner index, containing where they are in the coordinates and the depth. That would be array corners. Yeah, so if from corner index and to corner index is correct, then and these are just the point depth structs, which is what we indeed need. So this code is completely correct, except that I don't have from CI and to CI yet. But it used to be called on like that. That I don't think I have edge endpoints. I mean, I hope I don't have it. What is that? I have it. Well, then I delete it because I don't want to need it. What is this is doing is from an edge index finding two corner indexes. Well, we have that already. Edge index dot facets or something. Get facets. See what that exactly was. Edge index is math edge index, which is a k-face index, which has an oh yeah, facet indexes. See, so an edge has k equals 2? No, k equals 1. Oh yeah, of course. K equals 1. Number of facets is 2 times k. So there is 2 corners per edge. And it's returned, and this type is just literally a corner index then, which is n, 0. So this is returning a standard array of size 2 of corner index. Facet indexes. So if you pass back a pair, then it will be split up like this. I'm not sure if that also works with an array of size 2. I would say, what's the difference? So maybe it will work. Yeah, I'm gonna call them differently, I think. This is the corner index with E is 0, and then this is the other one with this non-zero. And if that compiles, then hey. E being the axis or edge to the non-fixed edge coordinate. Super vague. I don't know if this compiles. Let's see it if we get past that point. Error use of undeclared identifier edge index. This argument of the member function facet index has type const edge index. But the function is not marked const. Should it not be constant facet index? Doesn't sound like something that changes the current. Nope, that looks totally const to me. SK phase is definitely also const. That is even const. They should have been const. Facet indexes. Then we're back here. From okay, I think I just renamed it, but I'm a bit confused here. Oh yeah, never mind that then. No, this is still from. Maybe we should call these 0 as well. Yeah. Oh, okay, now I'm getting it. So here I call them a CR corner index, whatever edge 0, and here I'm calling it from again. Guess that's confusing. I'll just call them the same. And the point depth is then point depth E0, point depth E1, and the only thing we need here is the from is so this is the point depth, use from was E0, and then from that we need the vector, I think it was called. It's not highlighted though. No, coordinates. Coordinates? I completely forgot. Point depth. Just point WC. And here they are used again, but then I'm calling X and Y on it. Yeah, repeat or not repeat? That is the question. think I'll just repeat it. You would almost think about using an array there as well. This is a point now? Or it's not a point, is it? It's a vector. Yeah, this should be a point. Tja, the one has a name point, yeah? Can still print it if I make it a point. And this is S point. Hello. And now this must be S point as well. And point also has X and Y. Yeah, totally should be a point. So I have a math vector. Do I have a math point as well? Might not be the case actually. Yeah, I don't think I have actually. Point. How many points do we have? Cairowindow point. That's the one I need probably. Hello, how to? I don't really have an answer to that for that. And you want to know how I make my money? Point is cairowindow point. Yeah, cairowindow point. Still, there's only one point here. It's cairowindow point. Draw point. Math point. Oh, we have a math point. Aha. Oh yeah, makes sense actually. It is of course, I mean, I had a math vector. And then we call S point on that. Is a point which returns point type, which is point in namespace math. That's the one I need. Yeah. Okay, so simple. This should be point. Let's see if we can assign that thing the way it is being added currently. This now should work. This still works. And we have to pass a point then, of course. At the moment it's being constructed. And that was that edge pushback loop thing here. Here. These corners, right? But corners. No, wait a minute. So this corners already contains a point depth. So it's already assigned to corners then. The last the last paid job that I had was as a C++ programmer. Maybe that's what you want to know. I'm a professional. Just kidding. Well, yeah, was anyway. Yeah, so this is assigned from project universe coordinates to window coordinates, which returns auto, which returns point depth, which is constructed. Assigned distance. Guess that this is a vector times a matrix. It has nothing to do with a point. I don't think I can convert a vector to a point like that. So here I have to make it a point. Here's a point. Okay, axis is also required. Oh, it uses that to decide what color to use. Yeah, true. Okay, well, why not? I mean, yeah, let's just add it then. So edge needs axis as well, and then we have everything again. Which means that here we need to pass the axis. And we use the, oh seriously, this can't have the same indentation, come on. Why does it have the same indentation? Maybe if I could do it like that. Still, I mean, come on, VI is just completely confused here. Oh, that looks reasonable. So I want to be able to get the axis from the IP edge index. What the hell is that? Intersection point edge index. Intersection point edge index. That would be the E. That's just this one, right? Looks like an edge index. And then edge axis doesn't exist, of course. Yeah, I think I have to convert it to a k-face. So the edge index is a k-face index. And we can convert a k-face index to a k-face, which is derived from k-face data, which has the axis here. It's a bit masked though. That would be the first tip. So I can get that. I need this type at first. And this is a struct, so I'm just going to access the k-axis of the k-face data, or the k-face for that matter. Which you can get from the k-face index, I think, by just constructing it. No, as k-face, yeah. Four, I guess. 4, what? But there's now an access type, which I'm not convinced that I have that. Right here. Oh, maybe I do, because it exists here as well. Okay, what the hell? Or not? Nope. Does the edge index not have an access type? So I'm not sure if I have a face index here. Well, of course I have a face index, but why would I use face index? I want to have an access type, so from the edge index, it's a k-face index, which has an access type. Yeah, let's use that. The same type, but still, I mean, it's a bit weird to use face index here. Then you have to convert this access to an int, or maybe not. Depends on what I'll do with this access here. But I'm afraid we have to, because I'm using it as an index into this array. Right there. That is the only thing though. Okay, what is X type? X's type is bit set, I think. Yep, it's a bit set. So I need to assume that this is a bit set that has only one bit set. And then we have to convert it back from the one mask to the index of that thing. I don't think I can get more out of this than an index, if at all. I have an index to mask here. Do I also have a mask to index? That would be nice. Probably not. Index to mask. Yep, we have a mask to index. That would totally do what I want. Yeah. So I could call that directly, but it requires a t variable. Surely we have some member function that calls this. No, we don't. Wow. What the hell, man? Oh, I should probably add that then. Either way, this is going to be a bit set index, which is just a wraparound an unsigned int 8. There, not unsigned, int 8. Yeah, so it can be -1. Yeah, instead of, well, or what was I calling? Something 222. That, yeah, mask to index calls ctz. Count trailing zeros, yeah. We have another count trailing zeros. I should just show. Which is this one. That is the LL. I'm not someone who uses abbreviations, but these are, yeah, I don't know, industry standard abbreviations. So it stands for the least significant set bit index. The I is for me. The LSSB stands for least significant set bit. And I don't care if it's the least significant bit or the most significant bit, because there's only one bit set. But this would do the exact same thing as calling mask to index, so I might as well call this on the bit set, and then we can, then we do get an index type. So that should compile. test it. No, it compiles, except that we can't push that back here, because this is still an int. I feel like moving this up to here. These two line up. This is the edge index, and then the edge has an axis that we also pass. It's a bit weird though. Seems to be make more sense to just pass that thing. Everything in one. Definitely make more sense, doesn't it? So this is the way, well, you can code, and the way I code. You just build it slowly. It's like claying. And eventually you arrive at something that looks beautiful. And if you don't look at the end product, you might think, oh my god, what a good coder. But it's just not how it works. It's really a long road to that beautiful code. Well, it can be anyway. So in this case, I would say, yeah, maybe combine these two as one, because it makes more sense. On the other hand, we could try to make it compile and work first. I'm tempted to do that, because I don't want to make too many changes, and this already almost works now. So let's move the axis up. And then it's now where it is being used, it's still being used as an int. Well, now we made it an index. So it is an index, but it's a bit set index, not an array index. Kind of shucks. Yeah. Nah, I'm afraid I need an int here, or I could convert it again to a utils array index. But that hardly makes any sense, because this thing is so local. It's only just this one place here. I think that trick here is to call get value on the index, and I will just get the int. Is no member get value. I keep doing that wrong apparently. Well, if it isn't get value, then it's just nothing, just parentheses. No matching function for call to toString. Well, I could do the same thing, of course. I can just put parentheses behind it and then convert a string to an int. sorry, the index to an int, and then the int to a string. But on the other hand, I do have support for that, I think. I forgot how that works, so. So there should be some global toString. Oh, of course, I just have to remove the std. But this might work. This might work, I'm not sure. Let's see. That's just a vector index. Don't tell me I can't convert a vector index with toString. Yeah, I can see that that is supported. But this toString lives in utils. And oh, that was a trick. Oh man, my memory is so bad. Unbelievable. So it was std, but I should be using utils because that just works. That works for everything. No, tesseract. Oh, that's not all of them. Oh, damn it, yeah. This is only drawing the edges that are intersected by the hyperplane. So shift the hyperplane, we should even lose some. Till there's nothing left. Yep. Well. So it's not a good idea to run over all intersection points here, because then you get only the edges that are, well, intersected. I could run over all edge indexes, but that means that, contrary to what I thought, I do need an edge to exist for every edge index. No. Sleepy edge. Run over all edges, and that of course means that edges needs to have, well, all edges. And then from there it's working again, isn't it? The rest doesn't change. Okay, what's this? Edge depth. I don't think I even need this, because we already have that stored elsewhere. Not to mention that it is just BS. Oh, well, it's just BS. I don't know why this is here. Compare depth. What the hell? Stable sword. Okay, we never get here at least. Then compare depth. Priority queue. No, this code is currently commented out. Might as well make it an array now because we know the size. So we just fill edges with all information and a default constructed intersection point index. It's undefined, as in you can call a member function undefined on it and that will return true. Then we assign it only if this edge is well intersected. Which means we have to do a find, I think. We have to do a find for something. I think something outdoor. Look for I in but as iterator. And usually I call iterators by the same name as what I dereference to. But yeah, in this case we have that, so maybe I should call it iter. Section point index iterator. Then we have the hyperplane intersections universe coordinates. Nope. Maybe the code still exists. I don't see it. Interception point, really? I think no, it's really well, what? Number of, maybe just, yeah, it's a number of everywhere. You can find in this array factor, I mean. Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with C++. No, I mean, internet is your friend. Google more like it. Yeah, I never used Windows, so no idea. Maybe you should stop using Windows as well. Just, like use Linux. Most of my life I've had 2 PCs, especially for cases like this. So if one completely breaks down, then I still have the other PC to have keyboard and a monitor and research internet as well, of course. It would definitely suck to research this from a phone or something, I guess. Well, normally I would say, I'm coding C++, so don't bother me. But I won't be a complete asshole and spend 2 minutes in saying something. If I had this problem, I would remove everything, to all hardware, except of course, whatever is absolutely required, like a video card, one video card. And then try to get it to work by resetting the BIOS to the factory settings. If that did not help, I would search for my motherboard name with Google in combination with the problem, so no LAN or whatever. See if there's ever anyone before with that motherboard who had the same problem and how they solved it. This assumes that your LAN is part of your motherboard, by the way. And yeah, and I would be on Linux, so I would have a gazillion utilities to look at every bit. I could just completely investigate where the problem is. So step 1 is your, what hardware is it that provides your LAN? Is the hardware detected by the kernel? That's of course step 1. So during boot in Linux, you see which hardware it detects. If the kernel doesn't detect it, then it might as well not exist. And then if the kernel does detect it, that you could look at step 2, did a driver load for it. because you know, you need drivers. So in the case of Linux, that's often a kernel module or support in the kernel itself. Then you have direct access to the kernel via the proc system, file system, which you can very low level investigate if the hardware is there and if it is working. If the driver is there also. And so on, and so on, step by step. But you make it sound that it is a problem in the BIOS, so maybe you just turned it off in the BIOS, I would say. But there are two options. Either something broke completely, in which case you would have to buy a new LAN card or motherboard. And the other option is that it's just a matter of configuration. And in that case, I would say don't give up. Because this is one big puzzle, and it doesn't matter if it takes you 2 weeks. Just investigate absolutely everything, and then you are the expert on the topic BIOS and LAN and LAN on your motherboard, and then you will get it to work eventually. I've been in absolutely crazy situations that are much worse than what you described. And then you tend to maybe start a kind of panic, like, oh my God, how am I ever going to solve this? For example, I had at some point I erased the partition table of my hard disk, so I couldn't boot anymore. And another case I had also didn't boot anymore. My motherboard was just starting up and then after a few seconds stopping again. And then, well, the point is, you know, you have to feel like, oh, this is interesting. Let's figure it out instead of panicking. And in all cases, I just figured it out eventually. You know, could take a few days, but usually it was more like 1 or 2 days than weeks. Definitely. Especially because you don't do anything else. There's nothing else to do. For example, the case that I erased my partition table, I just rewrote the partition table again. You can do that by guessing what is the first cylinder for the first partition, and then it reads it, and then you can just guess what the end is. You can just try it out, and then you just guess a partition table and you try to mount it. And if it doesn't mount, then you'll guess wrong. So with a binary search, you can find the start and end of the first partition, and once you have that, you can do it for the second and the third and so on. And the other one, but didn't boot. Well, my motherboard turned out to have a display on it, and you could see numbers, and it went to a certain number and then it stopped. So I could look up what that number meant, and it meant something with interrupt problems. So I should have done it from the beginning, I guess, but then I just removed all my hardware, like I told you before. That's what you have to do that. And then it worked again. Only then it could boot. So then I knew that it was a hardware issue. An interrupt issue. Just two pieces of hardware using the same interrupt. And then I could find out by plugging hardware in one by one, which was conflicting with what. And then I could look up on the internet. Other people had that problem and how to solve it. And then eventually I found that you have to pass some kind of kernel parameter during boot. And then it worked again. Well, you can do it. Any knowledge that you might lack is on the internet. You could start with asking an AI and then don't trust what it says, but use that information to look up the real documentation or the real reference manual, and then just learn until you do know it. But you do need internet access. Without any internet, you don't have all that information, and then it becomes really, really, really hard. Again, let me see. Find if hyperplane intersections. Yeah, this doesn't work, does it? I mean, this is not an iterator. It's an index type. I don't think I can use a standard find. I could use a for loop. I don't think they are to blame. Just remove all your hardware and have a good look at your BIOS. Sure, you can get it to work again. I thought BIOS should have an factory reset thing as well. And then if it's just an empty PC, I mean, if you removed all possible conflicting hardware cards from it, then it just should work, of course, immediately. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know why not, really. Yeah, well, unless what you say is that the BIOS was broken, but nah, come on. Possible. You can, of course, brick your PC by updating the BIOS. So maybe you, I don't know, turn the electricity off and halfway upgrading the BIOS. Then you're asking for it. And even then you could recover from it, but I wouldn't know how. Probably with a special wiring from a special device to your motherboard or something like that. Find if this edge here, contains an intersection point. Well, how do we do that? We run over all the intersection points. And then we look if that particular intersection point refers to the given something edge index. And if it does, then we set the intersection point index to the current II and we're done. And then this is set. And otherwise it's left uninitialized. No, undefined, not uninitialized would be bad. So it's initialized to being on the to -1, which means undefined. Okay, so I need to find what the hell does this thing contain. It isn't that. Which is that? No, it's not. Sorry, it's this here, intersection points, which is a utils vector. So if you use the square brackets operator with an intersection point index, then we get an intersection point. Yeah, it's defined here. And there it is. And here's our accessor. And that's all there is. I forgot every semicolon. I dumped it from somewhere else, I guess. What do I say? I'm a fuzzy coder. Yes, there comes no end to it. I'm not even looking anymore, apparently, at the code. Pushback is not working. What is this? I get the, oops, I do get the pushback. Because I moved it, wait a minute. Section point index. So I don't get it. What is the exact error? Huh? What was I thinking? Of course there's no pushback. If there is an intersection point, then no, what is this? Well, it is II intersection point index. This drawing label text is the index. No, this should just be the edge index. Make. Nope. No matching conversion for function style cast from int to index type. Holy shocking. Error in utils array. But okay. Okay. So apparently array index has a constructor. Suppose this one. Yeah. I can't deny this. 0 is a very special value. Right, quarter. That is asserted I just added. Value 32. And it's 4. It's a bit too big here. So why is it 32? I end. So you should not use call I end. Haha. Yep. Call to I end is wrong here. Oh well. I think it should have worked because it's an array. The size is known. Oh, and it does return the size of the array. To the size of the array is 32, and I'm not happy with that. What? My assert is wrong. That's what is wrong. What is n then here? I think n is 4. Or you get 16. Still not correct. Should not be n. Should not be n. The key face index runs over. If this is I end, now we're talking about the number of key faces, isn't it? Number of k things, which is it should be size, of course. Size. Value is an int and size is a size type. Non-constant expression cannot be come on. I call that narrowed because the negative values are cut off. Good. I don't want the hashtags everywhere. And then again, I don't want them at all, those labels. Yeah, what? Never mind. No, yeah. Good. Okay, I think that works. Will do. So now we do have this problem here. That really we should be running over a draw order. And apparently for all edges. Yeah, this bus is now fixed. That part is fixed. So, Sure. Hello. Routine Alice. Yeah, what's next? Maybe I should draw the faces also, or should I just first try to do this depth ordering? Pop, 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 pop. I don't feel like it anymore. Is this 4MBIWK58? Are you still there? Gonna do like a reply or something? No, you can only punish people. Maybe an add 4M. Yeah, that works. Yeah, probably not. All viewers have left. Getting a bit tired here, so let's play a game of chess. D4, because, well, I win a pawn with it, and another pawn. Well, not totally winning, but now I one pawn up. interesting. I don't only see one way to defend my mate. Defend against mate. The man has a point. A bit starting to be a bit worried there. Oh, I give him my knight. How shitty. What the absolute devastating bad. Oh my god, I'm so bad. So bad. Too tired, I guess. Yeah. Okay, it's not like this.